Now let's proceed with the testimony. Mr. Edgeworth, please go right ahead.
Thank you, Your Honor. The prosecution summons the woman who saw the events that day with her very own eyes.
This is it, Mia. The battle begins here.
Witness, what is your name and occupation?
Again with that theme music. Everyone is so silent that I can hear their hearts going pitter-patter. Oh. When I look at you, how can I put it? You look as scrumptious as a double-double and a dozen donut holes. I feel like I want to hurry up and hand down a verdict just to have a bite.
That's disgusting, Your Honor.
Hey, not so fast!
As I said before, this witness is very sensitive and delicate. I would ask the court to please exercise care when addressing her.
Yes, indeed. Thank you, Mr. Edgeworth. You are a true gentleman. Miss Faye, you can learn a lot from this man.
I'm a vagina owner. Why the hell would I want to be a gentleman?
If he's such a gentleman, he sure doesn't act like one to me. Sir? Hey, yes, my dear? This is my first time, so I'm sure I'll make a lot of mistakes. Anyway, I just wanted to say I'm sorry for all the trouble I might cause. Not at all, it's no trouble at all. Now then, may we please have your name and occupation? My name is, Melissa Foster.
And here's the other giant spoiler, or just something in this case that doesn't work. Since this is the fourth case, yes, it's actually the first time we meet her, technically, if you go timeline-wise, but we already know it's Dahlia Hawthorne. We know that she's related to Valerie Hawthorne. And considering how Mia reacted to her in the first case, we know that she's actually the killer in this case. So, it really isn't very good, because we already know she's evil. Breaking her down isn't going to be very entertaining for us. It's not going to be fun. Mostly we're just going to be sitting here and thinking, oh my god, I wonder how long it's going to take them to finally figure out that she's actually Dahlia Hawthorne. I think if they really wanted to make this a big surprise, they should have put this case first, and not the second one, but this is the fourth, or some shit like that.
I'm a college student, a freshman in the literature department.
You were on the scene when the unfortunate event occurred, correct? And you were the one who took this photo? Is that accurate?
How can you be so mean? Now see here, what are you doing shoving that in your face like that?
Huh? But it's just a photograph. It's not like it's something dangerous. And it's not a very shocking photo.
Next time I'll be forced to penalize you.
I don't like the turn this has taken.
Is she staring at me? And you would be?
Huh? I'm the defense lawyer. My name is Mia Faye.
I see. So you are. Now then, young lady, could you please give us your testimony? Yes, Your Honor. I'll do my best. I was using my camera to take some pictures of wildflowers. Then I noticed there were two people standing up on the suspension bridge. Suddenly, they just started fighting. That's when I hurried and took the photo that shows the crucial moment. And right after that, I called the police. By the way, where were you standing when the incident occurred?
I believe the map would be of help here.
I was standing right over here. I was standing in a beautiful field surrounded by tall cliffs. I brought the camera I was using at the time, just like Mr. Edgeworth asked me to.
Ho ho, what a cute camera, just like its owner. Alright then, Miss Faye, time for your cross-examination. But I warn you, make the witness cry again and you'll feel the wrath of my gavel. Did you say wildflowers?
Yes, the mountain is famous for its beautiful spring wildflowers.
But it's only February.
Well, I couldn't wait for spring to come.
Oh, I know just how you feel. It's just like when I first started growing this glorious beard of mine. I just couldn't wait, so I wore a dyed blonde centibeard until mine grew in properly. Would you mind if we got back to the facts of the case, Your Honor? Was there anything strange about the two of them?
I'm a bad girl. I know I am. It looked like they were having a really serious conversation up there. So I decided to watch them, like some kind of peeping Tom.
No, not at all. Everyone is like that. I love watching other people fight too. In fact, I can't get enough of it. Actually, that's why I took this job in the first place. Too much info, Your Honor. In any case, it's perfectly natural for you to have kept watching them. Especially dressed as they were. Okay, his case I can understand. She doesn't look all that suspicious. Do you have any idea what they were fighting about?
No, I have no idea. Why do you ask?
Oh, I just thought that maybe you overheard what they said.
I would never eavesdrop. I've got more class than that.
That's right, Miss Faye. Don't drag the witness down to your level. Witness, when you said you took a photo of the crucial moment, is this what you meant? All I can see in this photo are two people facing each other. You testified that you saw the two of them starting to fight. Normally, that's the sort of thing we would refer to as a crucial moment. Why haven't you presented a photo like that?
Well, you see...
The photo we presented was the only one there was. But if you really wanted to capture the crucial moment, then what happened next? You must have taken a photo of it. No! My apologies, young lady. But Miss Faye's assertion is not without a certain amount of merit. He can certainly downplay a situation, can't he?
I'm sorry. I'm a very bad girl. I used it all up. The film, I mean.
Yes, this is a flashback case from 6 years from the usual time, but it would still be about 2010. Even when the games originally came out in the early 2000s, people were starting to use digital. Why do these people not use them? You ran out of film?
This photo was the last one.
What? Unfortunately, that is the truth. I personally examined all of the photographs she took that day. All the other photos are of the witness herself playing among the wildflowers. In February, on a desolate mountain, in the rain. Nobody seems to somehow be questioning this. Taking pictures of wildflowers, I can understand that in the rain. But taking pictures of herself among the flowers in the rain, that would make me wonder what she was doing and what the hell she was thinking. The witness herself? Then who took the photos?
Well, you see, My camera has a timer feature built into it.
So you took photos of yourself?
I remember taking photos of myself once too.
Please, no details.
It seems that Miss Faye's assertion was not so decisive after all.
Wait, just a minute.
Well, if she had no film left, she couldn't very well take more pictures, eh?
Miss Foster, perhaps then you could tell us about a different sort of photo. Photos of the incident that you took with your very own eyes. Oh, Edgeworth, you poet.
Mr. Edgeworth, you're quite the poet.
People who know my dark side know that it is not uncommon for me to think a song along the same lines as Dahlia. Then again, I would still be a better villain than she.
Very well then, let's get back to the cross-examination. Let's hear your thoughts on the fight that you witnessed.
Yes, Mr. Judge.
Boy, this guy is really a sucker for sweet talk. It looks like the other kitten in the room is the one that's getting all the attention. Yeah, it's sickening. Witness, your testimony is a joke.
What? But I just...
Miss Faye, I thought I warned you to not make the witness cry.
One short testimony and two bad contradictions. There's no possible excuse.
You say there were two contradictions?
It's simple. Just take a look at the diagram of the area. According to a testimony, the two of them were in the middle of the bridge. But if they were, and the victim had turned around and tried to run, well then...
She would have hit a dead end.
You said 10 yards, but she couldn't have even ran for 5. Because Dusky Bridge has collapsed on that side. It's very simple, Your Honor. This charming little witness told a charming little lie. And that's all there is to it.
This beautiful young lady has been lying to the court?
Just a moment, Your Honor. Mr. Edgeworth. Your Honor, allow me to personally apologize for the confusion.
What do you mean?
There's one major mistake in this diagram. What did you say?
What are you referring to?
Well, considering he's revealing this when I say that the bridge is not functioning, I wonder what the mistake in the diagram could be. It's all because this diagram was made after the incident occurred. It's a very old bridge. We couldn't find any official blueprints of it.
So you're saying...
I'm saying that even though this bridge is currently in disrepair, there's no evidence that can prove that the bridge was broken during the incident. That's ridiculous! You can't actually tell the condition of the bridge from this photo. I apologize to the court for not being more clear when I presented the evidence. That guy is good. Huh? What do you mean? He planned it from the beginning. He's a genius, alright. That diagram of the bridge was his insurance policy. Look, you may call him a genius, but the only thing that is a genius of his is that he became a prosecutor at age 20. Otherwise, he's not doing anything overly special compared to all the other prosecutors on the series. Not even Manfred von Kammer is any more special. What? Coward?
Well, Miss Faye, it seems you've once again made a reckless accusation.
I'm so sorry. I should have been more careful myself.
No, it wasn't your fault at all.
Now then, shall we go on with the trial? I'd like to establish once and for all what it was that the witness actually saw.
Indeed. Alright, young lady. May I ask you to please proceed with your testimony?
It's so hard to go on.
I think that's the wrong sprite.
We're all on your side, Miss Foster.
There's no need to worry. Just tell us what you saw.
Yes, sir. After he stabbed her in the back, he quickly picked her up in his arms. Then he carried her over to the car. I suppose that was the only way he could make sure the body stayed hidden. He couldn't just leave the body on top of the bridge. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm only supposed to talk about what I saw.
Witnessing such a violence must have been difficult.
Yes, sir. I'm still shaken up.
If he accepts this testimony as it is, we're finished. Don't say that. Oh well, maybe I'll stop off at my favorite cafe on the way home. They make a really great matcha latte. This trial isn't over yet. That's what I like to hear.
Alright, Miss Faye, your cross-examination if you please.
The contradiction is staring you right in the face, Mia. Go on the attack. Now here's an example of my logic jumping ahead several moments compared to this game's logic. I had two ideas that both have to do, or basically mean the same thing. On the left, you see a hill, or an outcropping. Looking at the bridge, you can see there is this large outcropping rock cliff thing in the way. And my original idea was that you couldn't have seen him move the body into the car because you couldn't see it. But the contradiction for this part... A killer not wanting his victim to be found. I can understand that. However, the idea of moving the body for that purpose is clearly odd. There was a much easier way to make sure the body wasn't found.
Well, what is it?
Take another look at the map of the area and you'll see how. There's a river right below the bridge. Earlier, Mr. Edgeworth pointed out something interesting about the river. For those who are not aware, Eagle River is well known for its powerful current. Most bodies that fall in are never recovered.
Oh.
In the kidnapping case 5 years ago, the victim's body was carried away and never found. What are you so shocked about? I'm sure it's going to be explained later on. If 10 murders were to occur at the same spot above the Eagle River, you can bet your boots that every other killer would have tossed the body in the water. Okay, if that is her idea, this is my rebuttal. Look at those fence posts there, or these little guardrail thingies. They're pretty high. It would be somewhat difficult for him to hold the ball in his hands, because if the bridge was so rickety, it's possible that it could have crashed through the floor and he would have been dragged down. So he couldn't have done that and lifted the body over that without it being more difficult than it should be. That's just my rebuttal.
I'm not sure if I care for the way you put that, Miss Faye. But I must admit it does seem odd to not have thrown the body into the river. Well, Mr. Edgeworth?
How sad. Perhaps Miss Faye would do well to try taking a dip in the river herself. After all, you claim to be such an expert in the waves of nature. What are you talking about? My point is that no matter how odd you may find the killer's method of body disposal, the fact is that this is what the killer did. None of your arguments have anything to do with what the witness saw.
Quite true. Miss Faye, it seems that your assertion is without merit after all.
But what the witness claims to have seen is completely ridiculous.
Surely you can't deny that the body was found in the trunk of the car. Maybe somebody was wondering why I wasn't saying, well, why is there not a lot of blood in the trunk if she was stabbed in the back? Well, I was gonna say something about that, but then the game told me that the knife was still stuck inside the wound, so that acts as sort of a plug. So she died of internal hemorrhages. That's certainly consistent with what the witnesses told us.
Mm-hmm.
Please, witness, go on with your testimony.
I'll try.
All you have to do is tell us only what you saw. Otherwise, the mean lady might yell at you again.
Who's he talking about?
I'll show you, mean lady.
Alright, I'll do my best.
I do sort of remember what the contradiction was, but I'm gonna press first. Maybe they'll say something funny. What did the man do then?
Well, naturally, he got in the car and was about to flee. That's when I came to my senses. I said to myself, you have to call the police.
And so that's when you called the police?
You sure that you saw all that with your own eyes?
Yes, I am 100% certain.
Oh, okay, that was wrong.
Well, my idea behind this one is that how can it be broken into, considering we are told that the car was stolen at a red light? If there wasn't a problem, couldn't he just let it slide?
What was it? Or was it the bridge view? Yes.
Well, Miss Foster, looks like you've finally done it this time.
Done what?
Made a crucial mistake, compared to all the other ones you made.
A crucial mistake? Like what, Miss Faye?
The killer broke into the trunk of the stolen car and hid the body in there. You're saying you saw that, right? With your very own eyes?
Yes, and?
It's simple, Miss Foster. Take a look at the diagram. The place you claim to have taken the photo from that day is here. Do you see what I mean? Even if you try to see the car, this outcropping of rock is directly in the way. Yeah, see, this is where the fact that the game takes very tiny steps in logic comes into place, and it's very obvious. As I said before, I was gonna say she can't have seen him carry it to the car to begin with because she couldn't see anything. But the game won't let me do that, so I have to first go through a ton of text over something trivial when I could just say, this witness is lying because she couldn't have seen shit afterwards. And done. No, I have to go the long route. That's right, Miss Foster. From where you were standing, you couldn't have possibly seen the killer's car. I admit that the diagram shows a large outcropping of rock. However, it isn't so tall that it would stop her from seeing the car.
That's right. It's not high at all. I was able to see his car just fine.
I am so sorry, but that just doesn't wash. I believe it was the witness who presented this as evidence to the court, yes? This is the location that the photo was taken from. Your own photo tells the whole story. You can clearly see the left side of the bridge, but the outcropping that is being referred to is really more like a cliff.
Ooh!
Your view should have been completely cut off by this cliff. But still you claim to have been able to see the killer's car.
What is the meaning of all this ballyhoo? Your Honor, don't jump to any hasty conclusions. The fact that the SKP fled in a stolen car was reported on the news. After witnessing a murder, I'm sure you can appreciate that the witness was very upset. She must have heard about the stolen car and convinced herself that she saw it.
But she was repeatedly warned before starting her testimony. She was told to testify only about what she saw with her own eyes.
No!
Mr. Judge,
What is it?
I think I must have remembered things wrong.
Hey, wait a minute, you can't just say that!
Miss Faye, no one on the face of the planet is perfect. Except for me. Well, as long as you don't put a gun in front of me when I'm dazed. Yes, indeed. Quite true. You know what they say. To err is human, to forgive divine. I'm inclined to give the benefit of the doubt to our witness here.
What? That's not fair!
Nobody said law or life is fair. Save the tears for later, kitten.
Mr. Armando.
Don't look back until the trial is over. Now's the time to go forward.
But that wasn't fair!
Okay, kitten. You need to relax. Then you need to remember the other kitten's testimony. So tell us, how did you know that? How did you know that he broke into the trunk?
Oh!
Until you can explain how you knew that, you're going to have a lot of very suspicious people on this side of the courtroom. Well, witness?
Well, I'm certain that he broke into the trunk. Because there were marks left on the trunk lid. I'm certain there were scratch marks from when he broke into it.
Indeed, those scratch marks were the first things I noticed on that photo when it was initially, given to me. What? Let me see that photo. It's true. These certainly look like scratch marks around the keyhole. It's obvious that this trunk has been broken open. Well, Miss Faye, are you satisfied?
The judge is on her side. I can't make any mistakes here. What you just said, is there a contradiction in there somewhere? Melissa Foster, it looks like you finally betrayed yourself.
Again?
What?
You said you were in a field taking photos of wildflowers. But even so, you knew about the scratches. The question is when? When did you get a chance to see those scratches? Finally. I finally got her.
I'm getting pretty tired of waiting over here. Oh, believe me, the next case is going to be worse. Then perhaps it would be faster if Miss Faye explained herself.
Your Honor, there's only one possible explanation. The reason the witness had seen the scratches. There's only one way that the witness had the chance to see those scratches.
Yes, what is it?
Naturally, when she opened the trunk and stuffed the corpse in herself. The person who really hid the body in the trunk of that car was Melissa Foster. It was you that did it, wasn't it?
That's ridiculous. I could never. It was the man in the prison guard. He's the one that...
I don't think so, Miss Foster. If Mr. Falls had been one that put the corpse in the trunk, he would have simply used the car key. There was no need to break it open.
But he stole the car.
He stole it from a young couple that had been waiting at a red light. Which means that the key would have still been in the ignition.
Oh, I see.
Thank you for telling us about the scratches, Miss Foster. Without that, we never would have uncovered the truth. It couldn't have been Mr. Falls that put the body in the trunk. Preposterous to even suggest that the witness put the body in herself. I wish the text would stop giving me strangely grammatical sentences at times. It really throws me off my flow. If that were true, then how do you explain the photo that she took? The corpse could only have been put in the trunk when the incident occurred. And we already know that at the time she was taking photographs. Now is your chance, Mia. Finish this thing! On the contrary, I'm not so certain about that anymore, Mr. Edgeworth. There's no need to think too deeply about this. What I'm saying is the shadow for this may not have been pushed by Miss Foster herself. I don't think you can make a mistake about it. Take a look at her camera. It has a timer built into it, even a mini tripod. Almost as if the camera was brought just to take this picture. What are you trying to say then, Miss Fay? That when the crime occurred, Miss Foster wasn't in the field as she claimed? Well, if she really did use the camera's auto timer, then the answer is yes, she was somewhere else. Exactly, she was not in the field. Would the defense please explain further? Listen, this is a crucial point. Where was Miss Foster when the incident occurred? And answering that question will also make clear Miss Foster's true identity. Well then, please answer this question. Where was Melissa Foster when the incident on the bridge occurred? Naturally, the witness was right here. But that's where the victim, Miss Hawthorne, was standing. Your Honor, if I may. After parting with the victim on the bridge, the defendant fled by car. But this would mean that there was no time to put the victim in the trunk. In other words, if someone put the body in the trunk, it could only have been before the defendant met the victim. How asinine. Of course Mr. Falls met with the victim. The only person with the opportunity to have put the victim in the trunk is the same man that killed Charity Falls. You still don't understand, do you, Mr. Edgeworth? By the time the witness's photo was taken, the victim was already dead. The person in the photo was not Valerie Hawthorne. What? I've never heard anything more ridiculous in my entire life. Oh, wait until you meet Phoenix in court. It's gonna be hilarious. Then who exactly is the victim in this photo? It's obvious, isn't it? It's your own witness. What? It's the only possible explanation. The woman that Mr. Falls met on the bridge that day was not Valerie Hawthorne. It was you, Miss Elsa Foster.
Me?
Let's remember that it was raining and foggy on the mountain that day. Mr. Falls himself believed that the woman in front of him was Valerie Hawthorne. But the defendant knew Valerie Hawthorne very well. After all, she was the woman whose testimony helped get him convicted. But since then, my client has spent 5 hard years in federal penitentiary. He couldn't remember exactly what she looked like anymore. You are just making this up as you go along. Where's your proof? You got it all right here. This piece of evidence will blow this case wide open. At the time of the incident, Mr. Falls had forgotten what Valerie Hawthorne looked like. Mr. Falls had forgotten the victim's face. That's why he needed some piece of identification, namely the muddy scarf. It was Mr. Falls who requested that you wear the scarf to identify yourself. That's already been proven by the note the victim left. In other words, as long as you were wearing a scarf like he asked, anyone could have pretended to be Valerie Hawthorne. Well, what do you have to say to that, Melissa Foster?
Where's Miss Foster?
She's collecting herself in the lobby. It's obvious that Melissa Foster did it. She hid the body in the trunk and disguised herself as the victim. She set up the camera to take a fake photo of them together. The only question is, why did she do it? Well, isn't that obvious? She's the true criminal.
Well, we'll have to wait for Miss Foster to compose herself before we start again. Until then, this court is in recess. The defense and the prosecution are instructed to wait in the lobby.
Yes, Your Honor. Understood.
Very well. This court is in recess.